Hi, today we are going to review DoNotAge Hydrolyzed Collagen Peptides. We're going to go through 6 categories. Is it keto? Is it good for longevity? The quality of ingredients, the availability, the cost, and the taste. Let's start with, is it keto? I started this channel as a keto channel, so I want to make sure I'm remembering, I'm not leaving out my keto friends. So yes, it's keto. You can take collagen supplements on a ketogenic diet. It's best if you take it along with a source of fat. So for example, if you are a coffee drinker and you add your collagen to your coffee, be sure you also add either butter or a little bit of heavy cream, some source of fat. If you're like me and you usually take it with a greens and berry shake, I usually add a little bit of olive oil. So take it with a source of fat, and you don't want to take it while you're fasting. Okay, on to number 2. Is it good for longevity? Again, we have a big fat yes. I consider collagen peptides one of the best longevity supplements that we have available. Now, you've probably heard this before, but as we get older, somewhere in your 20s, you begin to lose collagen. Collagen levels in your body go down. That loss of collagen accelerates. And by the time you're in your 30s, we start to see changes in our skin. We start to see wrinkles and less elasticity. Some sources say that by the time we're 80 years old, we've lost 80% of the total collagen in our body. But loss of collagen doesn't only affect your skin. It also affects our nails and hair, our joints, the connective tissues, and bone density, and even your strength. Not only that, but it also can affect your gut. So to put it in another way, it negatively affects our overall body's mobility, stability, and resilience. So yes, if you can find a way to stop that collagen loss or slow it, even reverse it, then it's very, very good for longevity. And we have many high quality studies that show the benefits of collagen supplementation, and that includes individual studies that are not funded by collagen supplement makers. Okay, so let's now talk about quality of ingredients. I've heard some YouTube people out there suggest that the way that DoNotAge competes with their collagen is mainly the cost. And I have to say that I disagree with that. And we're going to talk about cost a little bit later. It's not just the cost. So let's focus on the quality of ingredients. One of the main reasons I stay with DoNotAge and get my longevity supplements from DoNotAge is because they place such a high emphasis, such an importance on quality. That's their priority. And their products consistently outrank other products in head-to-head lab tests. So let's take a look at their collagen product specifically, Hydrolyzed Collagen Peptides. Now, their collagen is sourced exclusively from grass-fed bovine sources, which means from cattle, and broken down via low-temperature enzymatic hydrolysis. This formulation, this method ensures maximum structural integrity and absorption. So the collagen that you take is actually used by your body. And this is a very key point. Low temperature enzymatic hydrolysis is a gentler option compared to using strong chemicals like acids or alkalis. And because it uses low temperatures, it helps protect the important molecules and lowers the chance of causing unwanted reactions or damage. Now, they're not the only company that uses that process, but it is something to look for. It's certainly something to consider when you are looking for a collagen supplement. Now, here's some other things to take a look at, some other things to consider. Their collagen is GMP and ISO 9001 certified. What that means is it's manufactured at the highest global standards for quality, safety, and consistency. It's also in-house verified, which means that every batch is tested internally for molecular weight, peptide concentration, and absence of contaminants. This is also a key point, especially when other leading brands have faced some scrutiny with claims of contaminants like heavy metals in their collagen. DoNotAge's collagen is also used in scientific research. To me, that says a lot about their collagen. If researchers, scientists are selecting their collagen and they're used in health-focused studies, those researchers must think it's a good option. So next, we also have full label transparency. This means that what's listed on the label is actually what you get in the container. There are no fillers, no additives, no artificial flavoring, nothing, no fluff, just clean, functional ingredients. You know, I thought that when I was planning this video, I thought what I was gonna say about my comments regarding quality. I thought I was gonna say, well, it's pretty good and it's up there with a lot of other, top brands. And I wouldn't say it was bad, but I thought that I was gonna say that it's good, but it's not that much different. I was wrong. As I've been taking a closer look, I've realized that's definitely not true. Based on everything we've discussed, they really do have a higher quality product. That's how they compete. And to me, that's the most important. Okay, so let's talk about availability. Usually when I've done these reviews, this is where the product like this sometimes will get a lower score. And that's definitely going to be true in this case. As far as I'm aware, the only place that you can get DoNotAge Hydrolyzed Collagen Peptides is directly from their website. That's not necessarily a bad thing because they ship to almost any place in the world, and it usually gets there pretty fast. But I can't just walk into the store. I can't just go into Sprouts or Costco or my local health food store and pick up a container of DoNotAge Collagen Peptides. And you're not going to find it on Amazon. Now, they have stayed away from Amazon for a specific reason, because the problem is that supplements on Amazon are getting a very bad rap because, and you might be aware of this, there have been several reports showing that many of the supplements that are sold on Amazon are fake. They're not real, or they're substandard. And DoNotAge has made a specific decision that they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be associated with all of that junk. So overall, the buying options are limited. You need the internet to access it. But if you want it, you can get it. Okay, that brings us to cost. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, I've seen some other people talking about DoNotAge collagen peptides and saying that they're competing with price, right? Competing with cost. So we have to take a closer look at that because I disagree. I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that they compete by having a higher quality product. And to me, that's definitely more important. So if we look at the cost, we have to break this down. One of the reasons that people have said that, if you look at a container like this on their website, you're going to see that this container costs $27.50. Now, if you go to the store, I went to Sprouts the other day and I saw a container of the large container of Vital Proteins collagen peptides, and it was listed at $45. Let's see, specifically it was $45.99. Now, from the outside looking in, you say, oh, well, this is cheaper. It's only $27 and that one's $45. Now, obviously, there are other options for Vital Proteins where you can get it for a lower price. But let's stick with this example because I want to compare this and show you how, cost is actually very comparable. We have to look at that and say, okay, well, what is the cost per gram? Because that larger container of Vital Proteins, yes, it's more expensive, but it has more in it. So if we look at a closer comparison, we got to do the math and figure out what's the cost per gram. So there are 300 grams in this container, or there was when I first got it, right? And if we do the math, we figure out that you divide that by, divide the cost by 300, and you end up with about 9 cents per gram. Okay, so if we do the same thing with the example that I used for Vital Proteins, and we do the math and we figure out what is the price per gram, we find that it's about 8 cents per gram. Okay, so it's very similar in terms of price, In some cases, you're going to find that it's a little bit more, and in other cases, you're going to find that it's a little bit less. So from that perspective, I would say, it's kind of across the board, somewhat equal to what you might find in a leading brand. And here in this example, we're seeing that it's just a tiny bit more, right? 9 cents per gram as opposed to 8 cents per gram. And we have to look at this and say, but are all things equal? And I would argue that they're not. I would argue that the DoNotAge Collagen Peptides option is actually a higher quality. For me personally, I'm okay paying just a little bit more for higher quality, and even more for the peace of mind knowing that how pure it is and how much safer it might be for my consumption. And this one actually comes with the scoop. Okay, now that we've talked about the first 5 categories, let's get to number 6, and that is the taste. Okay, so the way that I like to do this is get a clear glass with a little bit of water, and this water is room temperature. It's a little colder than room temperature. Normally, a powder like this, it's not going to mix very well in room temperature or colder water. It's usually better if it's a warm or even hot. But I do this because that's what I've done with all the other reviews, and I want to see how this will mix, okay? And I'm going to use a straw rather than a hand mixer because the hand mixer is just so much easier to mix it. I want to see what's going to happen. Let's open it up. One thing that I have noticed with this collagen is the powder actually does seem a little bit finer than other collagen products that I've looked at. So that's kind of a good sign in my mind. All right, so this is 10 grams, and we'll pour it in here. And right away, you can see that it kind of stays on the top and starts to drop down like, looks like one of those little snow globes. That's pretty common. That's what you see with a lot of different collagen supplements. That's fairly normal, okay? But it is starting to break up a little bit in there, and that's good. Let's see about how it mixes. I'll use this, my cool blue straw, and see how it mixes. Okay, it's mixing, taking a little bit here. I'm kind of dreading this a little bit because collagen by itself doesn't taste good. Collagen and just in water like this, it is not appetizing. You'll find that with just about any collagen product. Okay, but here we go. Here we go here. Okay, I will say that it's not awesome, right? It's not awesome, but it's not bad. I've tasted other collagen options like this, just in a cold water or room temperature water glass, and they've been far worse than this. What is it? What is that flavor? What does that taste like other than being not awesome? Man, it's hard to describe. It's a little bitter. It's a little bit like kind of funky. Tastes like collagen, right? I'm definitely not buying this for the taste, that's for sure. And you probably won't either. But what I'm buying it for is the high quality collagen peptides that are manufactured at those, global standards and are checked. It is inspected for contaminants and purity, and it's actually collagen. That's what I want. That's what I'm getting it for. I can add this to other things that I'm drinking that will give me a better flavor and hide this. I have to drink it all because I don't want to waste any of it, right? You could do it. I won't do it, but if you can get past that taste, that's, it's okay. So for taste, I would give it a low score in and of itself, by itself, in water. But compared to pretty much every other brand that I've tried, it's not as bad, but it's still pretty not very yummy at all. Okay, so one thing I need to talk about. I am a DoNotAge affiliate, full disclosure, right? And if you've watched my channel, then you already know that. One thing I will say is I've been a DoNotAge affiliate, a DoNotAge partner for over 2 years. And this is the very first video that I've done about their collagen peptides. For the longest time I held off because I've done a lot of collagen reviews on this channel. I've tried a lot of different kinds, and for a long time I sort of settled on vital proteins. I've decided, based on the research that I've done, no more. I'm going with DoNotAge. It definitely is a higher quality option than most, if not all, of the other options that are out there. And you might think, well, you're just saying that because you want me to take it. Well, hey, you know what? I'm saying that because I believe it. And if you're interested in trying it for yourself, I do have a link down below and you can save 10%. Outside of that, you've got to do what you want to do. For me, I recommend this. This is what I do. This is what I would suggest you do. I absolutely would. Well, good morning. It's the next day. The AC is going because it's already 100 degrees here in Arizona at 7:30 in the morning. And I was in the middle of making this big speech about how I think DoNotAge collagen peptides are the best. And then my microphone died. It cut me off right in the middle of my speech. I guess it's time for this video to be over. Well, I have looked at a lot of different collagen products. I've tried a lot of different brands, and I have decided that after taking a closer look, this is the one that I'm going with. This is the one that I think is the best option, and I'm gonna go with that from now on. If you're here, if you've been here for this entire video, I hope it's been helpful. Please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear from you about your own collagen experience, and I'll see you in the next video.